Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call our meeting to order here for the City of Erie Land Bank meeting for June 20th, 2022. I'd like to start off by seeking approval of the consent agenda and approval of the minutes of our May 16th, 2022 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that takes us to our finance report. And today, Mindy, you're going to go over the numbers for us. Okay, April.
Okay, nothing new to report as far as the finances go. We do have the balance sheet and the profit and loss statement in there. We did have the Erie Land Bank audit that we need acceptance on in order for us to proceed with that. I think that was all I had.
I did have one question, maybe we can note moving forward. I've noticed each month we'll get a P&L that sometimes reflects the current month and then sometimes is a rolling number for year to date.
Mm-hmm.
Would we be able to just have that be year to date each month?
Yes.
Because it's hard to reconcile. I have to go back to prior months to figure out the trends.
Right.
So if moving forward, that if the P&L could be a year to date.
Yes.
And then I also wanted to ask about the expense that we have under grants and charity, 10,000. And if you don't know what that is today, that's fine. But the 10,000 that we're expensing, is that quarterly or what is that tied to?
That is something I would have to look into and get back to you. I'm not sure why that would be on there.
Okay, maybe we can follow up on that next meeting then. Thank you. Do we have any questions on the financials?
Need a motion to accept. So moved.
All in favor of accepting the financial report? Aye. Thank you. That takes us to citizens' comments. Were there any citizens that had reached out to comment today?
No.
Called in or anything? No? Okay. All right. Let's move on to the report of the executive director. And I think, Mindy, I'm not sure if Aaron's on the line, but if he is, let's let him in.
It does not appear so.
Okay.
I will do my best.
Thank you.
So as far as the work plan 2021 is concerned, most of the properties are under contract for demolition, are down, or will be approved in the coming weeks. So we're moving forward with that. There still are 3 properties that are being appealed in the Commonwealth Court. So, and then 1958 Prospect, we put out for rehab proposals. We added that to the other properties that were out for rehab proposals. Work plan 2022, 9 demo bids on the agenda, and then 4 from last month will be demolished. The remaining properties are being evaluated for possible rehab proposals. The ones currently out for proposals include Fairmont, Woodlawn, East 6th Street, Warfel, and Kellogg. Additional properties will be demolished if the rehab isn't favorable. And then just things in general, we are working on an agreement with Serve Erie to utilize some of the remaining NAP money for demolition of properties within their area. They have $27,000 remaining, which will cover roughly 5 demolitions. So, and then the Redevelopment Authority Board has appointed Chuck Scalise to the Erie Land Bank Board. So.
Could you repeat that?
The redevelopment authority board appointed Chuck Scalise to the Erie Land Bank board.
So the three that are out for rehab proposals, we should see those next month then?
There are actually 5 out for rehab proposals. So there's 41 Kellogg. We did not receive anything on those. They were due last week. Warfel, I received 1 on, however, it was incomplete. So we extended that with the others for the remaining deadline, which is July 13th. So the other ones we will see next month.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question?
Yeah.
How has the response been on? I know at the last meeting we discussed, for example, Woodlawn, whether we would rehab ourselves or put it out. And the discussion at that time was to see where it was, where the market and interest was. Can you just give us a summary of how that's been?
Yes. So we have had a huge influx of interest in several of the properties. I would say 4 definitely have a ton of interest. Woodlawn, Fairmont, Prospect, and East 6th Street all have a significant amount of interest in them for rehab proposals. So Woodlawn was one that was due for proposals last week. However, we decided to extend it because of all of the interest. I am actually scheduled to show several of the properties tomorrow to new people that were qualified. So we did create the pre-application process in order to vet people before we take them out to show them the houses. So everyone that has been going out has either done these types of projects or has the means and know-how to do them. So
Just for my own clarity then, so after the pre-application is complete, that's when you're taking them and showing the property. So you're vetting with the pre-app, and then anyone who meets the qualifications, you're showing the properties to each of them. I would imagine that's quite a bit of time for you.
it is,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
any other questions?
So since we've had a lot of interest, which is good, we're getting that. Are we going to send out a notice to all the interested parties to come back to the highest and best so that everyone feels that?
Yes, I do plan on sending an email. I have been creating basically just a contact list of who has been interested. I will send them out a reminder to bring our highest and best. One of the things that I did do with the applications is I added an escalation clause. Basically what the escalation clause says is, here's my bottom offer, and here's the top price I would be willing to pay. And then they decide how much those increments would go out. So basically it's a system that allows them to overbid somebody else's bid up to the highest amount that they'd be willing to spend on a property. So, but I will be notifying everybody. I just plan on sending out a reminder of when they are due and that we do have multiple offers for some of the properties and to bring their highest and best. So. Yes. He did email me his report. Just a few things on here. He did discuss and finalize the developer's agreement with Mr. Snippert. So that is the agreement that we will go into whenever we approve these rehab proposals. So we made some changes to them, knowing that what successes and what failures we've had in the past to try and overcome those types of things. So he said they're finalizing the complaint and quiet title for the 2021 properties, and he will follow up at the next board meeting.
Any questions? Not, we'll move on to unfinished business, new business.
I wanted to bring something up. Well, I know we're tied at the hip with the redevelopment authority. I remember prior to the formation of the Erie Land Bank, redevelopment authority in the city had undertaken what I call a sale of lots that were basically owned by the redevelopment authority. However, they could no longer afford to maintain it. So those lots were sold to individuals who had presented plans for development or use of those properties. And I just want to bring it to this group's attention and the redevelopment authority that some of those sales and use of those lots are not living up to what the original intent and purpose that they said they were to be used for. And I'll give you an example. If you talking on the corner, southeast corner of 22nd and French, and across the street from there on the north side is another lot she purchased. And I think she also has a lot that's adjacent and adjoining to that over on 21st Street that's on the south side. She has abandoned those lots. They're not being used. We look at structural sites that become useless and blight, and that's what these lots are. And I'm just giving you 3 for an example because no one's there, no one's maintaining it. The other problem with that is that it's throughout really what I see on the east side. With this tall grass, high grass, weeds, people aren't maintaining these lots, and at some point we need to take a look at that and have, and I think we call it a recovery or retrieval, where the redevelopment authority and or land bank can take back those lots and units if they're not being used for the purpose that they said. And for those current properties that are problem properties, if we could get a city code inspection of those lots, and if possible, have them condemned because the owners aren't doing anything, and it just looks terrible, and it's throughout. If you go anywhere between 18th to 24th, 25th, state over to East Avenue, you'll see them. Grass is taller than my 5-year-old. That's it. 5-year-old grandson.
No, I think you raise a good point because, we're going to probably see some offers coming in. Talk about having that additional escrow set aside. And we also have to be part of packages coming in with that fundable escrow to make sure the projects are completed. Hopefully that's part of the package we'll see next month.
We did not have the escrow for the vacant lots. However, one of the things that we are working with the solicitor on is adding in a recapture portion to the agreement, basically stating that if they are not keeping up with the property, and in this case vacant land, if they are not keeping it in a suitable condition, then we have the right to take it back because of those problems that we've seen where people aren't keeping up with the property. So we are adding that into the vacant lot sales agreement.
I think that we also want to see the monetary amount held too. So I know we brought this up a couple months in a row, and I think if we need to get another conversation somewhere, we'd like to see some sort of monetary amount that's held that would be refunded when the project, for example, we're going to have rehab proposals coming in.
We are doing that for the rehab. We didn't do it for the vacant lots. We just added the recapture portion to the vacant lots because essentially those are being sold to the adjacent property owner.
Should we look at maybe it's a lesser amount? We should be looking at some dollar amount that's held back with the lots as well. See how what are the state of those lots a year later, and get that small amount back so we can have that follow up.
Yeah, we can definitely look into that.
Beyond rehab, say it's a vacant lot, maybe it's a lesser amount. There should be something we can offset expense of going out and having the brush hog, whatever, we have to take it back.
Right. Yeah, we can look into that for sure.
Unfinished, okay, so we're unfinished new business, we have election of board secretary.
I make a motion that we select Daria as board secretary.
Second. Second.
I feel like the fix was in before I walked in today. I'll need a little bit of training, but that's fine. Happy to take that on. I see that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have it.
Yeah. Be more careful from now on.
Okay, moving on to 21.
We did ask if there was going to be a representative from that firm coming today. It looks like they were not able to make it to help answer any questions that you might have about that. So I can always follow up with them and get answers back to you if you have any questions. But they were finished with the Erie Land Bank audit, and we just had to present this for your acceptance.
No.
I do have a question on the statement of revenues and expenditures. It looks like our expenditures are over by $3,395 compared to what our revenues are. I guess I'm just wondering how are we rectifying that. It's on page 8.
I would have to look into greater detail to see what those expenditures were. But I can get an answer back to you for the next board meeting.
Question.
Aye.
Yes, so there is a bank authorization. This is needed to allow April to work or be the administered depositor for the Erie Land Bank.
Second.
Aye.
Okay, on to demo bids.
Yes, so we've been busy. We have 9 properties for approval for the demolition bids. The bid tabulations were included in the packet. Did you want me to go through each individually, or did you just want to look at them?
So for the property at 1268 East 21st Street, has that demolition been completed?
No, none of these have been completed.
Okay, because then over where residents are requesting to buy, proposal for purchase of vacant residential property, there is a 1268 that is listed in the proposal package.
So in the mission to stay ahead of the game, so to speak, and to try and get ownership of these vacant lots prior to people enjoying them without owning them, I have been sending out letters to all vacant lot owners. So any lot that touches one of the lots that we are taking a house down on, they received a letter. We've been giving it 30 days at least. So the ones that you do have in front of you went out at least 30 days ago, asking them if they would like to purchase the vacant lot once the house has been demolished. So again, we decided to do that so that we are not allowing people to enjoy the properties without owning them. So, yep.
Good stuff.
Yes.
All of these have.
Yes. Yes.
Would you want us to approve all of these collectively? Or
Yes, that would be great if we can. Again, we had multiple offers or bids in for all of the properties, and we did go with the lowest bidder.
I'll make that motion to approve the demolition bids as presented.
all in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, dispositions.
Yes, so you will see in front of you a sheet that goes over vacant lot proposals. So as I mentioned, we did send out letters to any adjoining property owners. And then there are also some other ones in here that we had received that weren't adjoining, but just that people had put a proposal in for. I did do some vetting of them to see if they had past due taxes, if they had any utility liens, and if they were in ownership of any other blighted properties. Again, to try and mitigate selling off these properties to people that aren't going to take care of them. So you will see there's only one for the first 2 properties on the list. They both want to use it as a side yard. The one or 1135 East 10th Street offer is $700. I guess we'll go through individually and then ask for your approval or so. But again, they didn't have any outstanding issues that we saw in order to deny them permission to purchase the property.
So 1268, East 21st, you have two proposals.
We have two proposals for that.
Take this forward.
That is correct.
Property owner of the adjacent property, 1272.
They are both side lot owners.
And Mr. Tate lives at the property.
But with that property, unfortunately, Jesse Tate does have past due taxes that came up in 2020 and 2021. They both showed up on the registry.
Was he made aware that you would be reviewing the tax law just to make sure that?
Yes. Yes, everyone that has come forward that has had the interest in the vacant lots or the rehab program, we have explained that we are vetting people more now to make sure that they're essentially a good citizen and don't have any past due taxes, utility liens, things like that.
Is that information also included in that proactive letter that you were sending out?
I would have to review that to see.
I just think it'd be helpful for people to know even before they apply, no matter what circumstances, that we'll be checking so that they could clear it up if they needed to in advance.
No, that's a great idea. I will check. If it's not, I will definitely put it in there. It does say in there, the underside parties have no delinquent taxes, water, sewer, or refuse bills due to the city of Erie or its agents, so. Yeah, so yeah, if we could just go through and individually and then decide on the ones that do have multiple.
For 1135, East 10th, if there are no issues discovered. Unless we have any questions.
Make that motion. This is for 1135 East 10, correct? Mr. Warnica? Make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Seeing no issues, are there any questions? Move the motion to approve.
So,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1268 East 21st. So I'll just jump in. All things being equal, obviously, if somebody is doing taxes on another parcel, you're not going to prioritize them. So for me, it's a matter of approving Ms. Fuller's application.
Motion to approve.
Yes, sir.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Six 14, 616 lots.
Is there a property on this, lot right here?
Currently, yes.
Well, the person is saying they want to restore the home to its former use.
Yes, I did talk to her. I did speak with her. She was hoping to restore the home, and I told her that it's, she does own adjoining property, but she does not live locally, but she rents it out. So she said she would like it to add to the yard for the property that she owns. She was hoping to be able to rehab the house, but from my understanding, it's too far gone to be able to do that. So she wanted to keep her offer as it was.
So just to clarify then, that the applicant living in Tennessee is not living in Erie. Is that correct? They own the property, but they're not living in the city of Erie?
Correct.
Is there one in the packet for the other applicant, Lori?
This one.
Oh,
So when we have investors reach out to us, obviously, we're scanning all the properties. Make sure it's not.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So the viewers live or
They do not live in the city either, but they do have a lot of properties that are in the city that they rent out, and they are all up to date with their taxes, their utilities, and none of them are on the blighted list.
so is the Drake applicant now looking to make it just a side lot in the green space?
Yes, for the property that she owns and rents out.
So the escalator is up to 1,000 on this?
Yes, she wanted it to 1,000. The original offer of 10,000 was because she thought she could buy the house. Yeah.
So they're both land.
Yes.
Both have enjoyed.
Yes.
One's on each side of it.
Yes.
One lives in Fairview, the other one lives in Tennessee.
Mhm.
So I guess my concern would be that since it's going to be a green space, how's that person going to be in that green space?
I mean, I would just say, if all things being equal, with both landlords, I would rather have somebody local and have to go make sure it's being maintenance. I don't know how
Right.
Fresh off my, no, I was just going to say fresh off the vacant and delinquent property webinar that I did last week. They did say always to try to keep it in the community. So I was in agreement. If we're allowed to do that, that makes more sense to me.
Yeah. There you go.
So in that case, if I could get a motion to accept Mr. Lawrence.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Takes us to 927, East Third.
This person is a landlord as well. They own a adjoining property, but they rent it out. But they do have lots of properties in their portfolio, and none of them are on the blighted list or delinquent. And they're in Edinburgh.
I move to accept the application by Blintzleer Apartments for 927 West 3rd.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, we have 522.5 Wayne, sorry. If your list is from when we met, it was an addition that came in after we met, so.
Here. I just have lots of questions about this if we could. So obviously Frontier Lumber's bid is much higher than the other. And, you know, a picnic pavilion with basketball hoops sounds lovely. Did they provide proof that they could do that? And then how would it be kept up so it didn't become some sort of nuisance as well?
They did not provide that. This was the one that came in last minute. He did provide, they did have an architect do drawings of what they'd like to put in. When talking to the gentleman from Frontier Lumber, they're right there. And they wanted to do something nice for their community and use that space. So he does plan on keeping it up. Sure. And I guess there is, because one of the things we questioned is there is a railroad track that right there. But I guess since the Erie Coke plant has closed, it's not a railroad track that's used.
So that lot wouldn't be fenced. It would just be public and open. And
It's just this one.
mm-hmm.
So this is near where they replaced the stormwater collapse. This is the same lot, or the same problem.
I'm not 100% sure about that.
Business property.
Yeah.
You know, good condition over there. I think they would take it
And again, that would fall back to the maintenance agreement as well with the contract that we would be drawing up with them, is that they're going to maintain it and keep it in a nice condition.
So is there more information on the small playground for the neighborhood kids?
No.
I guess, I've met with the business owner for different issues and different things over the years. And, excuse me, you have someone there who's made a deliberate decision to stay in that investment.
Right.
When a lot of other folks aren't willing to do that.
Yes.
So I think, just given his track record, his willingness, desire to continue to invest in the city. I don't know if I necessarily need to see any detail of this yet. I think I know him well enough.
I agree.
It's also a much higher sale price. So, yeah. Sure. I'll make that motion to approve the bid put in by Frontier Lumber for 525 Wayne.
That's second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And maybe at some point we can write it back, get updates. So I think it's
Sure.
a great use of that.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay. Now on.
We actually ended up removing that from our agenda because the 41 Kellogg did not receive any rehab proposals. And after being in it now, I would recommend demolition. And as I mentioned in Warful, I did get one rehab proposal in, but it was incomplete. So I reached back out to that developer and asked him to go back to the proposal and complete it as we ask, and have just extended the deadline for Warful to the July 13th date with all the others.
Sorry, I knew you mentioned I'm going off.
Oh, no problem. Yep. No problem.
Okay, well, then that takes us to other business and other business. There you go. Questions, comments? First motion with this one. All right.
Second.
So moved. We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.